What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. We're back out here on Lake Martin. It's time to drop the boat back in the water. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I got it done this week for a 4th place finish. So we're going to head out, show you some baits, rods, reels, line, all that good stuff. Even go show you a few spots. Hopefully maybe we can catch a couple today. Kind of cloudy here today, so not sure what the fish are going to be doing, but we'll figure something out. So if you guys are ready, let's get this boat splashed, get out there and show you guys what's going on Lake Martin. All right, guys, let's head out on the lake. I'll show you exactly how we got this trophy right here. Maybe catch a few fish, show you some key baits for me, and just explain exactly what I was doing. So let's get out there. All right, guys, we made it to a little area where I caught some fish this week on Lake Martin. I'm gonna jump in, pull out some rods, show you guys some baits, explain to you what was going on, and hopefully we can catch a couple fish here. Let's go. All right, so I pretty much had 3 patterns going that I ran throughout this event. First off, I was targeting spotted bass out on some shoals and long points with a swim bait. After that, I was fishing some docks with just the standard wacky rig Senko. And lastly, I was bed fishing a lot. So I caught quite a few many largemouth off the bed, and used a variety of different baits for those 3, but that was basically the 3 patterns that I ran this week. I was focusing on the lower half of the lake, really the lower end of the lake, the first 2 or 3 days. The final day I started expanding on the water and ended up running up the lake a little bit and catching a few fish up that way. But basically the spotted bass were staging and starting to spawn on some of those shoals and points, as well as the docks. You know, I was focusing on those deeper docks that had, say, 7 to 10 foot on the edge of them, and it worked its way up shallower the further back the dock you went, and there'd be some pre-spawners in the deep water, and there'd be some spawning on the shallower post. So I was able to catch both stages of fish off the same docks. So that's what I focused on as far as spotted bass fishing. You know, I was throwing just a 3.3 Kitech on the Bass Cave Tackle deadhead screw lock. So that jig head, once you screw that swim bait on there, it is locked on there. It's not going to come off. I was able to make the most of my time and catch multiple fish on each bait doing that. Let's see, I was throwing that on the favorite Hex 7.2 medium heavy spinning rod. We got a favorite Jackhammer 2000 series reel on there. 20-pound Seagar Smackdown braid. This is the Stealth Gray color here. And then I was running it to a 10-pound Seagar Tatsu fluorocarbon leader. So like I said, this is what I was fishing around those shoals and long points. I would just cast this out, sink it down to the bottom, and then just start a slow retrieve back. And this was catching, staging, and spawning spotted bass. They're so aggressive when if you roll this by one of their beds, they're gonna come up and eat it. As well as if they're just out there feeding still, you're able to catch them on a swim bait. So it was kind of kill two birds with one bait, and allow me to be very efficient with that. After that, we had the wacky rig, and this was, like I said, skipping under docks. I caught quite a few bedfish on the wacky rig as well. We'll get into that here in a minute, but let's dive into the juice. This is the Favorite Hex 610 medium, so it's a little bit shorter rod than the rod I was throwing the swim bait on, and it's a medium action, so it's pretty soft, allows you to fight those fish, loosen up the drag, and just let them do their thing under those dock posts. I'm sure you guys have seen that crazy fish catch that was on this exact setup right here. Just loosen up that drag, let the line and the rod do all the work. So, Favorite jackhammer 2000 series reel on there as well. 20-pound Seagar Smackdown flash green color on this. When I'm throwing that wacky rig or any finesse bait that I'm letting sit or letting sink, I like the flash green color so I can lay that braid on top of the water and just watch for any kind of movement, any kind of jumps, ticks. If it starts running, I'm able to visually see that bite without having to move the bait and feel it. Running this to 10 and 12 pound Seagar Tatsu. I would mix it up based on the conditions, the clarity of the water, and the type of cover I was fishing. You know, if I was getting into those real thick, heavy docks, I would put on 12 pound. Otherwise, I would stick with 10. Probably majority of the time I was throwing 10 pound. And then we get to the business end of things here. This is the Trocar TK 137 weedless finesse hook. So it's got these couple weed guards on here. That was very key for throwing in around those docks. You weren't getting hung up every other cast. And as well as fishing for some of those bedfish around some brush, I was able to even throw my bait up on the bank and drag it into the water. So I wasn't making much of a splash, I wasn't spooking them. And those little bit of weed guards were helping out tremendously. Now, as far as baits, majority of the time when I was skipping the docks, I would throw the 5-inch Senko. Color really didn't seem to matter. I mixed it up between watermelon red, green pumpkin candy, black and red, green pumpkin red. I just went through tons and tons of different baits. It really didn't seem to matter a whole lot. They were eating everything. But now, one trick I learned this week, whenever I would pull up on a bedfish and wanted to throw the wacky worm, I would drop down to the 4-inch Senko. Pretty much stuck with watermelon red and green pumpkin on them. I would put a little lip glue and maybe dip the ends in chartreuse a little bit. But that's pretty much the only two baits I used right there on the wacky rig, the 5-inch and the 4-inch for bedfish. And like I said, kept it very simple. And it got the job done. Lastly, if I found a stubborn bedfish that was kind of tough to bite, I would mix through a variety of different baits. This one right here, this is the Perfection Lure Shaky Head, David Dudley designed. I would just put a little Super Fluke Junior on there. I'd even, if you watched my video, you saw me catch a few on this little tube, just the chartreuse tube that sometimes they get real pissed at. And I would just mix it up, rotate a few different baits here on the Shaky Head. This just stands up perfectly in their bed. Looks like a little bluegill or a little predator in there trying to eat their eggs, so they couldn't stand this. So that's pretty much the baits, guys. And this, I would put this Shaky Head on the same rod as the swim bait, Favorite Hex 7.2 medium heavy. I got that 20-pound Seagar Smackdown flash green braid on there, and running it to 10-pound Tatsu again. So pretty much all the same setup. equipment wise, just rotated through a couple different baits. As you saw, I had a bunch of different rods out on the deck, but these are the 3 that did the majority of the work. And now, if you guys are ready, let's get out here, see if we can't catch a couple bass. Show you exactly how we did it here on Lake Martin. Let's go. That, guys, that's actually a good one. I could have used him in the event. Nice largemouth there on the wacky worm. So there was 2 more things that were crucial to my good finish this week. First off would be these Costa sunglasses. These are, I like to wear the Tuna Alley frame, and I pretty much wore the Sunrise Silver lens all week long. These are the 580G glass lens. They're super clear. You can see everything, and that Sunrise Silver lens really brightens up the water. I was able to see those bedfish and see those cruising fish, see all those fish in the water, and it really helped me. Secondly was my MillerTech lithium batteries. You know, I didn't have to worry about power ever. I could kick that trolling motor on high, know I'm gonna have full output on my trolling motor all day long, never have to worry about my batteries draining down, and able to cover water all day long and find those fish on the bed. So the cool thing about lithium batteries is, 1, not only are they lighter, 2, not only do they last longer, but 3, they give you maximum power through the entire life of the battery. So on your standard battery, you are constantly, you're at a slow drain. Whereas lithium batteries, your trolling motor gets 100% juice until the very end, and then it goes to 0. So there's no slow drain, so I'm getting maximum power to my trolling motor all day long as they're draining down. But again, you're never going to kill them unless you use them 2 or 3 days without charging. So you got maximum power all day long. They're lighter, they lighten up your boat, you run faster, you use less fuel, they last way longer. So lithium batteries, a huge plus in my boat this year. Check out MillerTech lithium batteries if you haven't already. They're going to be the cheapest lithium battery on the market. They're designed for bass boats to get beat up in the waves, in the rough water, so check them out if you haven't already. So if you guys watched FLW Live, you probably saw me fish for this fish right here on the boat ramp. Well, we're back and he's still there, so we're going to try and win that battle and catch him now for this recap video. Let's see if we can't catch him. Well, we got him today. that's exactly how we got it done this week on Lake Martin. Mixing up the wacky worm, mixing in some bedfish, a few Kitech fish here and there, but not too many, mostly some bedfish like this guy here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Oh, yeah.